Hey everyone. So in First Kings 8, which is also Second Chronicles 5-ish, we have King Solomon and he's just finished building the temple, right? So it's this new building that's going to replace the what was the tabernacle as it was in the wilderness. I believe it's called the meeting place of the Lord now. And it was somewhere else in Jerusalem, and David had brought it in. It was a big, long procession. And now, finally, there's a permanent building that can stand as a testament to God's presence with his people Israel, which is super exciting. And in verse 10 of chapter 8, we see that when the priests came out of the holy place, a cloud filled the house of the Lord, so that the priests could not stand to minister because of the cloud, for the glory of the Lord filled the house of the Lord. And so there's this glory cloud that comes in and fills the temple to show that God has come down, that he's pleased with this house, and that he is choosing to manifest his presence in it, so much so that no one can actually go into it, which is kind of a problem. And so, but that'll be resolved, and it's not a big deal. But it is a big deal to show that God is now with his people, and this is huge. This is everything that they've been looking for and working towards in Israeli history. And so then in 2 Chronicles 6, chapter 1, or sorry, verse 1, Solomon says that the Lord has said that he would dwell in thick darkness, but I have built you an exalted house, a place for you to dwell in forever. And so here we see Solomon's I think it's a mixture of arrogance and ignorance, right? He doesn't actually understand that God never said that he wanted to dwell in this house forever. He never asked for that. And he didn't expect that either, because he knows that, like everything else that humans build on this present earth, it will fall to ruin and crack and crumble. And, like Jesus says, that moths and rust destroy, and thieves break in and steal. And we see that happen to the temple a few hundred years later with the Babylonians. And so this was not his plan. This was not his plan to dwell in this house forever. And they build a second temple, and that also gets destroyed. And actually, it's arguable whether or not the presence of the Lord ever dwelled in there at all. But what we do know is that God, his ultimate plan, was to dwell bodily in the form of Jesus Christ, right? That God would become man in Jesus and demonstrate what it means to walk in fellowship with God, and then to die on the cross so that the veil in the temple would be split from top to bottom and allow for every person on the planet who chooses to follow Jesus to be filled with his presence and become a piece, a stone, a living stone, as Peter says, of his new temple that he's building, a temple not built by human hands, but a temple built by the Lord, made of people, right? That we would all become a piece of this temple, a house for the Lord, that is his bride, that is us. And so we see that Solomon was very wrong in what he said, but that's actually a really good thing, right? That now we are his temple. We are the place where the glory of the Lord dwells and fills this house. And so I just encourage you that whatever plans you have that you think are grandiose and so beautiful and so pleasing to the Lord, know that his plans are bigger and far stranger and far more beautiful than you could ever imagine. And so give your plans to him and give him the permission, not that he needs it, but he asks for it, he wants it, to be whatever he wants to be in your life, because I promise you he's worth it.